Debbie Reynolds seemed unstoppable and, yes, unsinkable in the 1964 film The Unsinkable Molly Brown. In the end, it took nothing less than the death of her daughter, Carrie Fisher, to bring her down. Rocca has an appreciation ×2.
That Debbie Reynolds died just one day after her daughter, Carrie Fisher, is somehow both shocking and poignant. Todd Fisher said about his mother's passing, she wanted to be with Carrie.
Look, look, look.
Debbie and Carrie lived right next door to each other.
I just came up to clean the fountain.
Our Rita Braver paid them a visit back in 2004.
What did you think when your mother said, oh, by the way, honey, I'm buying the house down the driveway from you?
I tried to litigate.
She called me about the house. She said, Mother, the man just died and I said, should I go to the funeral? She said, no, you should buy the house.
But a good part of what made them so captivating as a pair was what seemed to be their differences.
Will you please tell me what is this awful thing I did to you when you were a child?
Dramatized in Carrie's thinly veiled novel-turned movie, Postcards from the Edge.
Remember my 17th birthday party when you lifted your skirt up in front of all those people?
I did not lift my
that guy,
skirt.
Michael.
It twirled up!
And you weren't wearing any underwear.
Well,
If you only knew Debbie and Carrie from their screen work,
I'm nothing like my mother.
you'd think that they were from different, well, galaxies.
This is some rescue. You came in here, didn't you have a plan for getting out?
Each epitomized her generation.
What the hell are you doing?
Somebody has to save our skins.
I have a delicious surprise.
All I do is dream of you.
Debbie Reynolds was one of the brightest stars during Hollywood's golden age of movie musicals. Hers was the school of whatever you do, keep on smiling.
My entire life, I have always fought back. And I just feel that you don't give up. And if you get a blow, you go on.
The story of how she was discovered sounds like the plot to an MGM musical. She was competing in a local beauty pageant when she was spotted by a movie studio talent scout, as she told me in 2013.
They had a screen test, there was a camera there, and they said, look in the camera. And I said, so, okay. And they said, now just talk, just ad lib. I said, why would I do that? I don't know what I'm doing here. This is all so silly. And they said, well, you want to be a movie star, don't you? And I said, no, I don't know anything about it.
I don't want to be a star.
I don't want to be a movie star. I can't possibly be a movie star. So Jack Warner saw the test and he said, well, she's funny. Sure, let's put her under contract, $65 a week.
Singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling.
2 years later, she was singing in the rain with Donald O'Connor and Gene Kelly. You're 20 years younger than Gene Kelly, and you'd had no dance training?
No, I had no training of any kind.
Good morning, good morning. It's great to stay up late.
Debbie was the ultimate trooper.
So we danced 10 and 12 hours every day. There's no days off.
Just to give viewers a sense of how much work this was. You say your feet were bleeding. I mean, what else hurt?
I think your heart hurt. Could you keep up? Were you going to fail? And Gene Kelly kind of scared me because he was the boss and he was brilliant and he was a wonderful teacher. He had to teach me, and to be given a little kitty cat and expect it to be a lion, it didn't happen overnight, and I had to work without question.
Wish I knew if he...
Debbie Reynolds didn't just play innocent, she was innocent, said her son Todd.
Tammy's in love.
All those early movies, man, Tammy and all that, shoot, that's just her.
That really was.
That's just her.
As, I don't want to say naive, but
But she is an innocent, you know, she's a true innocent.
I should have expected to find you holding Vader's leash. I recognized your foul stench when I was brought on board.
On the other hand, her daughter, Carrie Fisher, was all about candor and not masking the pain.
It's good to see you, sweetheart.
You contemptible pig.
And finding the humor in the vicissitudes of her very unusual life.
Now, I was born in Burbank, California, to simple folk.
She was the child of a global scandal when her father, crooner Eddie Fisher, left Debbie for Elizabeth Taylor.
The best thing Elizabeth Taylor did for me was to get Eddie Fisher out of our house.
After becoming internationally famous as Princess Leia in Star Wars, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
My mother wants you all to know this comes from my father's side.
And then she began writing.
You probably are the only person in the world who could make going off on a sort of a manic depressive swing and ending up in a mental institution funny.
It better be funny. Otherwise, what I say is if my life wasn't funny, it would just be true, and that's unacceptable.
Carrie Fisher saved herself and helped a whole lot of other people by writing.
Everything worked out very well in books. Much more organized and ordered than everything out here.
The differences between mother and daughter were real enough that they didn't talk for nearly 10 years. But what always struck me about them wasn't just that they loved each other, but that they really liked each other.
What I figured out is I don't have to turn into my mother if she lives next door.
They may have come of age in two starkly different decades, the 1950s and the 1970s, but these two women got each other.
The reason she can write so many books is because of me.
Because you have given her so much material?
And
she
continue to
is
do
great
so.
for material.
So let's tell the world about it now.
Both enormous talents,
Happy times,
both extraordinarily likable and funny,
happy days are here
both of them unsinkable.
again.